Imagine a time when there were no books, no letters, and no texts. How did people record important events? How did they communicate across long distances? Well, it all started around 3000 BC. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of how writing systems were born and how they changed the world forever. Before writing, humans communicated using gestures, pictures, and symbols. They told stories, shared important information, and passed down knowledge orally from generation to generation. But as societies grew larger, this method had its limits. What if you wanted to remember something important? Something that would last? That's where the invention of writing came into play. Let's start in Mesopotamia, a region known as the cradle of civilization. Around 3000 BC, the Sumerians invented the first true writing system, Cuneiform. Picture this. You have a soft, wet clay tablet. You need to record something important, like a trade agreement or a king's orders. So you press a sharp reed or stylus into the clay, creating wedge-shaped symbols. This was the birth of cuneiform. At first, cuneiform was simple, just pictures of things, like animals, crops, and tools. But soon, the Sumerians took it to the next level by turning these pictures into symbols that represented sounds and ideas. They could now write down complex thoughts, laws, and even tell stories. Meanwhile, in ancient Egypt, a different kind of writing was taking shape. Around 3000 BC, Egyptians developed hieroglyphs, a system of symbols and pictures that represented both objects and sounds. Hieroglyphs were not just practical, they were also beautiful and sacred. They were used to communicate with the gods, record history, and decorate temples and tombs. Hieroglyphs were used to inscribe stories of Egypt's rulers, their victories, and their relationship with the gods. This form of writing was so powerful that even the ancient Egyptians believed that it could bring eternal life to those who were remembered in their sacred texts. But why did writing become so important? It wasn't just about recording stories or religious texts. Writing helped people keep track of day-to-day life, like trade, taxes, and laws. In Mesopotamia, cuneiform was used to record business transactions, like how much grain a farmer owed or how many sheep were traded. In Egypt, hieroglyphs helped the pharaohs record everything from royal decrees to the results of military campaigns. Writing allowed societies to track things over time, share information across distances, and even pass down before writing. If you wanted to send a message, you had to be there in person. But with writing, everything changed. Now, rulers, merchants, and even ordinary people could send messages, orders, and letters across vast distances. Think about it. A king in Mesopotamia could send a letter to another city, instructing his officials on how to handle trade or taxes, and it would be read far away. Writing made communication faster and more efficient. It meant that decisions could be made even when leaders weren't physically present, and messages could travel from one kingdom to another. As civilizations advanced, so did writing. Around 1200 BC, the Phoenicians invented the alphabet, one of the most revolutionary changes in writing history. Unlike cuneiform or hieroglyphs, which used hundreds of symbols, the Phoenician alphabet used just 22 characters to represent sounds. This made writing much simpler and more accessible. The Phoenician alphabet was so successful that it spread to the Greeks and Romans, evolving into the alphabet we use today. From complex pictographs to the simple letters of an alphabet, writing systems had come a long way. Imagine living in a world where information was passed on only through memory and spoken word. It would be hard to keep track of laws, taxes, or even your family history. But thanks to ancient writing systems like cuneiform and hieroglyphs, we can now store and share knowledge in books, newspapers, and even on our smartphones. Writing allowed civilizations to record their history, communicate across vast distances, and build a legacy for future generations. And that legacy is still with us today. in every word we read and write. From the ancient clay tablets of Mesopotamia to the smartphones we use today, writing has truly shaped the world. If you enjoyed learning about the origins of writing systems, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to AI History for more exciting stories about the inventions that changed the world. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.